but I think there's good lessons for us to learn. You know, we weren't good enough. We expected it to be tough coming here. We know the Sri Lankan spinners are very, very good, especially in their own conditions. Yeah, but we weren't up to par, so we need to make sure we get better if we want to try and compete in this series. If we don't, then Sri Lanka will be on top of us. Yeah, I think it's just a case of, you know, our batters are trying to somehow put pressure back on the quality of the spin bowling that Sri Lanka do have, you know. So there's two ways of looking about it. There's one is to try and sit it out and try and bat for as long as possible. But with that, then, you know, not bringing pressure on the opposition. So I think, as you rightly say, there was probably one or two more expansive shots that we would normally play. But the thinking behind the batting was just to try and put some pressure back on the bowling, because they don't give you anything, and that's the quality that the spinners have over here. So if you just sit there the whole day, then you're also not going to score runs. But there has to be an element of what is a medium risk compared to a high risk shot, especially on the wickets that we're playing, with the ball stopping a little bit more than we used to. So it is lessons that we can learn, but we weren't good enough in this game, and Sri Lanka showed us why they were better. As I said in the post-match now, if you look at the one innings that Gurunratne played, if you take that out, the rest of the game was pretty similar. You know, there was one or two batters in the batting lineup that found it a little bit easier, and then the rest didn't. So there's the motivation for us that, you know, if you can make sure that you keep getting wickets, it is tough coming in. I think that's the biggest difference playing in the subcontinent, is when you do lose a wicket, that next 5 overs becomes tricky. You need to make sure you get through that. And he was there the whole time for them in the first innings. Scored more than half of the runs of their total. So he was fantastic this game, and as bad as we were in our batting, he was very, very good. Yeah, look, when we face off spin in the net, it's a coach trying to throw some off spinners at you, but it's not even the same quality as a Pereira. You know, the shape that he has is a lot different than the shape that you can practice. You can hit 10,000 balls, but he bowls at a different shape. He gets beautiful drift, and especially today with the extra wind, the ball was drifting a lot, and if he gets that assistance from the pitch, it makes the variation really big, because one ball is going away from you and one is turning big in. So hopefully from the guys playing against him now, they can now, over the next week, go and practice a plan to counter that. You can only work out a plan if you face someone, and a lot of our guys hasn't faced him. So hopefully that will be better in the next test. We played a warm-up game which was a flat wicket. It didn't spin. So you have to give credit to Sri Lanka for, I suppose, doing that well. There's some learning in that for us to take, even when we're playing in South African conditions. The nets that we've been batting on has not been spinning in at all. So we could have come a month earlier. You know, if you're practicing on facilities that doesn't spin, you're not going to get what you're going to get out there. And I didn't think the wicket was that bad. I thought it was actually a decent test wicket. You know, it's obviously a lot more challenging to face spin, but there wasn't any demons in the wicket. So we're not at any stage are we blaming the state of the wicket. I'll just have to go and practice my tossing over the next week. Yeah, definitely. I think that I'm a big fan of taking away the toss. I think even if in South Africa it's the same, you'll still prepare the conditions the same way that you are preparing them now. You just make sure that you try and bring some balance. You know, I think the home conditions teams will still win the majority of the games, but I think you do even out a little bit more. I think over the last 2 or 3 years, away records have definitely gone down, and games are finishing a lot sooner than it used to. When I started playing Test cricket, 400s and 500s was happening quite regularly. So I'm not speaking just on subcontinent conditions. I agree, even in South Africa, games hardly reach the end of day 4 anymore. So I think that would be one of the ways that you can make sure that that balance is a little bit better. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen it, so it's difficult for me to comment on it. Sri Lanka, as I said before, when you come here, it's a very, very tough team to play, because the spinners are as good as any other team in the world.